Of all the questions humanity has ever asked, one echoes louder than the rest. It is a question whispered around campfires, debated by philosophers, and calculated by scientists. It is the question that hums beneath the surface of our art, our religions, and our explorations. Are we alone? We live on a tiny, fragile blue marble, a speck of dust in an ocean of 100 billion galaxies. We fill our world with noise, with cities, with broadcasts, with the constant chatter of 7 billion souls. But when we turn our instruments to the heavens, all we hear is silence. A profound, cosmic, and deafening silence. But what if, just once, for one fleeting moment, that silence was broken? Our story takes place in the heart of Ohio in the summer of 1977. Here stood the Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope. It wasn't a sleek, modern dish you might imagine. It was a colossal, unmoving giant the size of 3 football fields, a vast metal ear permanently tuned to the whispers of the cosmos. For years, the Big Ear was a key player in a patient, almost thankless endeavor, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. Its job was simple: to listen, to scan the sky day and night, hoping to catch a signal that was not the chaotic hiss of a dying star or the random pulse of a distant. It was looking for a sign of order in the chaos, a signal that was artificial, structured, and intelligent. Scientists had a specific idea of what that signal might look like. They theorized that any advanced civilization trying to communicate across interstellar distances would likely use the most common element in the universe as a reference point: hydrogen. The hydrogen line is a very specific, very quiet frequency at 1420 megahertz, a natural cosmic channel that astronomers called the water hole, the logical place for different species across the galaxy to gather and talk. The Big Ear was listening intently to this cosmic meeting point. On the night of August 15th, the telescope was doing its silent, lonely work. Data from the sky was being collected, processed by an aging IBM computer, and printed onto long, continuous sheets of fan-fold paper. There were no flashing lights, no alarms, just the quiet hum of machinery and the rhythmic clatter of the printer, spitting out endless columns of numbers and letters. A few days later, a 37-year-old volunteer astronomer named Dr. Jerry Emmon was doing his routine task of reviewing the printouts from the previous nights. It was a job that required incredible patience, sifting through mountains of cosmic static, looking for a needle in a haystack the size of the universe. For hours it was the same story: ones, twos, threes, the low-level background noise of space. And then he saw it. On a section of the printout, nestled amongst the mundane data, was a sequence that made his heart stop. A string of characters that read 6EQUJ5. To a lay person, it looks like gibberish. To an astronomer in the SETI program, it was a lightning strike. The computer program used numbers 1 through 9, and then letters A through Z to denote the signal's intensity. 6E wasn't just noise. It was a signal that was rising and falling in a perfect bell curve, exactly as you would expect if the telescope was sweeping past a fixed point in space. But it was the U that was truly impossible. A U represented a signal intensity over 30 times stronger than the background noise of deep space. It was a colossal, focused, and powerful blast of radio energy. This was not a star. It was not a galaxy. It was a narrow-band signal broadcast on a razor-thin frequency right near the sacred hydrogen line. It was, for all intents and purposes, the perfect blueprint of an intelligent interstellar message. Overwhelmed by the implications, Dr. Emmon grabbed a red pen, circled the sequence, and in the margin of the paper wrote a single involuntary expression of his astonishment. Wow! The scientific community was electrified. The big-eared team swung the telescope back to that exact patch of sky in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. They listened, and they heard nothing. The signal was gone. In the weeks, months, and years that followed, they would return to that spot more than 50 times. Astronomers all over the world, using far more powerful telescopes, have since scoured that region of space. The result has always been the same: silence. The wow signal was a ghost, a 72-second shout from the void that has never been repeated. So what was it? For over 4 decades, scientists have tried to explain it away. Could it have been a signal from Earth bouncing off a piece of space debris? Unlikely. It was on a protected frequency where terrestrial broadcasts are forbidden. Could it have been a secret military satellite? Possible, but no known technology at the time could produce such a signal. In 2017, a theory proposed it was a gas cloud from a passing comet, but this was later debunked, as it failed to explain why the signal was not detected in other scans of the same region. Every natural and man-made explanation has been proposed, and every single one has fallen short. They fail to account for the signal's incredible power, its precise frequency, and, most importantly, the fact that it never ever appeared again. This leaves us with a possibility that is as profound as it is unprovable. What if it was real? What if it was a beacon from a civilization millions of miles away, sweeping the galaxy with its message? A lighthouse beam that for a fleeting 72 seconds happened to sweep across our tiny planet. And in that moment, we just happened to be listening. The wow signal is the most powerful and tantalizing piece of evidence we have in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. But it is also the most frustrating. It is a single data point in a sea of zeros. It is a story with a breathtaking first sentence and no other pages. It is a cosmic hello with no return address. Perhaps in the end, that is its true message. Not a complex code to be deciphered, but a simple, humbling reminder. A reminder that the universe is vast, ancient, and filled with wonders that may only reveal themselves for a fleeting moment. And it tells us that the silence we hear when we look at the stars might not be emptiness at all, but simply the sound of us waiting for the next word.